No, it actually started recording. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here with the KSL Week 6. I thought I finally had pushed my system to the limit, to the point where it would crash trying to record the 4K here, but somehow, some way, Palpatine returned, and that's just nice little trauma shock there for all the Star Wars fans. We are currently getting into Game 2 of the second semifinal for this week's KSL. We do not have Game 1 because we were actually casting the entirety of Hero versus Classic. Only took like 15 minutes, but Game 1 of this matchup actually took 30 minutes. So there you go. We start with Game 2 here in the top left. Leading the series, it is Dark, or as Pig would say, Dark. And his opponent in the bottom right, Cure. At Cure, I was really excited to watch play in this weekly. Gumiho, due to scheduling conflict, ended up not being able to participate. The schedule's gotten shuffled around a couple times, but you know, it's a work in progress. KSL is designed to create that opportunity for competition, not just for us to have great stuff to watch, but for these players to do, you know, to keep doing StarCraft 2. So the schedule should hopefully work around what works for them. So I know that it's been adjusted a few times to try and make it easier for the players. So yeah, I've got nothing bad to say about that. Big shout outs to Chicken Man, David Test SC, and everybody on their Matcherino and Patreon making this possible. And let's face it, you don't really have a tremendous amount of pro StarCraft to watch on a Friday night either. I am broadcasting this live on Twitch/Nathanias as well. We do a lot of ladder games, and it's also going to be where we're recording quite a few pro commentary VODs for the foreseeable future, such as this one. Now, that first game, we don't have it here in this video, but I'm going to tell you what happened. It was 30 minutes long, so as you can guess, split map. It was on Grezvon. Split map. Cure had Mass Ghost, Thor, Liberator. As he pokes these lings off of his... I thought he was going to clean all the lings up, but that's it. Oh, losing all the Marines would really hurt. Okay. Wow. That was a bit more, that was quite a bit more than I thought Dark was going to do with that early push. Dark is a psychopath. He's a lot like Hero. Hero, by the way, is waiting in the grand finals for the winner of this match. So if Dark wins this map right now, then he's going to go on to play against Hero. So, Liddy Spaghetti or something to that effect. 3cc build out of Cure. You love to see it. I totally lost my train of thought. I do not remember what I was talking about at all now. That's okay. Those lings coming in, man. Those lings coming in. They'll get you. They'll scare you. Reaper drops the grenade, pulls back. Oh yeah, we were talking about what happened. So it was Uber split map situation. Dark finally killed him by getting Neural Parasite onto Thors and Liberators while Nidusing his main and 360-degree concave surrounding him with Broodlords and Queens. Yeah, it was actually really crazy. They both had like 10,000 resource banks and dumped all of them, completely rebuilt. Like, just insane. In fact, I may end up doing a follow-up video when I get that replay. Maybe I'll just cast that replay for you guys as its own thing in the near future, because it was honestly just crazy. It was a crazy game. But again, we don't have it because we did the entirety of the other semifinal during that map. So in a weird way, we wouldn't have done this match at all if that game didn't go 30 minutes. So there you go. Bright sides. Yay, bright sides. 4 drones toasted by Hellions. 5? Okay. I didn't really feel like too much was committed here by Cure, so 5 drone kills doesn't feel bad, especially with this Banshee follow-up. If the Zerg player gets into a rhythm of running around trying to deal with the ground harass, you may miss that moment when you might need to drop a cheeky Spore Crawler. There is no early lair this game, so if you don't have a Spore, you can't attack the Cloak Banshee. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. The Banshee comes to the front of the line anyway, and the Overlord sees it. So if he didn't know, now he knows. So you can just forget everything I said. We have a lot of lings that were made and Dark did not get ling speed. Am I seeing this correctly? Okay, he's going for his lair, but he just decided he doesn't want speed. So because he gets a roach warren and he clearly wasn't 100% sure about the lings when he built them. Like maybe they were kind of panic, but the fact that he isn't even just starting speed as a response to having them tells me that he's got something nefarious planned. Maybe the spores are enough to defend the base and the drones with the queens, but I'd almost love to see Dark just slam down a Nidus. Okay, never mind. He gets ling speed. I'm like, I don't know any reason why you would not be willing to just get speed when you already have the lings if you weren't gonna Nidus all in. Like if you weren't about to end the game. So him starting speed kind of tells me, okay, maybe that's not going to happen. Yeah, so the drones are going to come out, and I think that that's a totally fine way to play it too. Neo Humanity, in my perspective, it's just a great map because you have a couple more choke points that you can try to funnel the Zerg through. You have a big staging ground with a lot of room. Zerg can try to use that to spread out, but you can kind of parse that terrain with planetaries, widow mines, liberators. And we are going to see those things. Cure was using a lot of ranged liberators for harass. We've already seen that he's liking that aggressive starport opening with the banshees, and he hasn't done too shabby with it either. Yeeted a couple of Hellions in, but he's gotten a nice amount of drone kills. It's 85 to 65. This is like peak economy for either player. Dark could get more drones if he wanted, but he doesn't have to. You usually get to this mark and then you want to crank out units and just keep yourself ready to deal with a big bio push. Usually as stim comes in 1-1, and well, Cure has those things. So we've got 2 medevacs with about 16 marines. Very standard move out for a Terran player versus Zerg. He's going to scan to clear the creep. The creep is really not too far out, so he's going to be able to posture up on this space shortly. He's going to use the Widow Mines as an anchor. We do have some Ravagers prepared here for Dark. Combat Shield's not ready yet, so when he stims, that's still a lot of damage. It's going to force out the retreat of the mine with that bile. Now goes for the second one. And unfortunately, not really able to do too much with the Widow Mines there. I think the armory finished right as that fight was happening, so he was able to keep that second one alive. And this is a great way to keep the utility of the Banshees going past the early game. Clear the creep, just generally be annoying. And if the Ravagers come out too far, I mean, focus one of those bad boys down. Get in there, scan, clear some creep, kill some Ravagers. Or at the very least, don't let Dark just attack the rocks for free. You know, if somebody was trying to kill these rocks, had this many roaches and Ravagers, and was piling out a bunch of lings with 1-1 finishing, and they were breaking my rocks, I hate to make a controversial statement, but golly gee, I think they were trying to attack me. So delaying that would have to be a good move. But behind all of this, Dark sneaks straight up to a lair. He's got a couple of infestors out, but more importantly, he's building Vipers. So in the time span of 1-1 and stim finishing, and then that attack being pushed back, Dark just stole a hive. I feel like he just stole third base. Shout out to the Mariners. I'm making football references. It's baseball season, okay? I don't really care about baseball, but I'm gonna try more than 0% this year. So he's already up to hive tech. He's getting his +2. He's getting adrenal, and this is where Dark is gonna absolutely be terrifying. The map control from highly upgraded lings is one thing, but Cure is like, he's loading up some drops, but the way that he's postured back just says it all. Moving out with nothing but Marines when there are infestors on the field and Ravagers is mildly terrifying. So I don't even know that he can. He's just playing to secure bases. This map is one of those ones that's a little bit easier to do the split on. It's a bit harder to attack if your opponent is controlling the watchtowers, just because he can kind of see closer towards the edges of the map. Like, it's not easy to get around the vision of these bad boys. So if you let yourself get boxed in like Cure has, you're going to have a really hard time moving across the map. So that's why oftentimes you'll see a lot of Terran players make that quick switch into the Ghosts, just focus on the upgrades and try to play that uber late game split map scenario. Big fungal onto the bio units, but most of the lings were already cleaned up at that point, so it's not too bad. But those Vipers, man, that's going to be a really difficult engagement down the line. If he gets Blinding Cloud on those Marines in a big pocket by the Banes, or neutralizes any high ground tanks. You love to see it. You love to see it. For such a brutal lair-based army, he's done a great job of mixing in those tech units. Doesn't seem to have Ultralisks or Broodlords on the mind. Just wants to keep that up. But he is going to get a Spire. He's going to give himself a couple of options. Now, most of the units have been pulled into the main, so Cure is going to be able to sneak this double drop over towards the west side expansion hatchery. Being targeted down in no time. Triple medevac drop loads up to try and hit the east side. So he's saying, look, I've got this drop. This is going to attack, clear out this base, bring everything over here. Second drop comes over to the middle base, the purple haze main. He's going to be able to bring that down. There's still a double drop outside of the main base. So you've got Cure trying to hit from 3 different angles. Now that left side did eventually get cleaned up. Fungal's going to land on the medevac. So losing 2 of them. I think that third one, is he going to be able to save it? Will he try to save it? It's following the infestor. Oh, they're like friends. No, he wants to go home now. He changed his mind. He doesn't want to be friends. You know why he thought he was creepy? This Cure's going to move the rest of the army towards the upper east side. He has a huge bio ball, multiple tanks. We've got Hellbats to back this up, and the timing couldn't be better. Greater Spire is on the way while 10 Corruptors are being built. So if Cure was able to get into a spot where he could attack while those Corruptors were either still in production or before he could try to turn them into Broodlords, then I think you've got a kind of interesting proposition. But he doesn't feel comfortable trying to push into the Ravager Ling Bane on creep, or at least against the infestors. He's going to try and break the rocks to close off some of this position. But he's kind of just throwing his hands up and say, look, let's play this late game out. Let's play this late game. I'm going to get ghosts. 3-3 is on the way. And these infestors on top of a ramp are going to be hard to push through. You can scan for the vision, but the ghost steady targeting, while it does an unholy amount of damage, it can be canceled by receiving literally any damage at all. So if the ghost takes any damage, it's tough. So that's why you usually keep them defensive, because if you move them out, then it's easier to hit them. You know, very straightforward interaction. So Cure wants to take his pot shots from afar and just slowly inch up onto the center base. But this is what we were talking about. Those Broodlords were coming in. We saw that Greater Spire, and that was kind of the window for Cure to make it happen with this army. But Marauders, Siege Tanks, Widow Mines, they're all terrible against Broodlords. They're not going to cut it. And this is not a chump cheese amount. He's got 9 Broods. There are only 5 Vikings on the field, and Ghosts do step forward, manages to pick at least one of them off. But on the back side of this, a huge amount of Banelings getting produced. So he's saying, look, the Broodlings are going to force you to unsiege your tanks. You don't want to deal the friendly fire splash, and then the Banelings are going to come in and just swarm you. The moment these tanks unsiege, the Banes are coming in. You know what? He says, you're not going to unsiege? Whatever. I'm just going to bring it all anyway. The Queen's actually kind of blocking the Banes in, but it doesn't seem to be too much of an issue. Parasitic Bomb is going to knock the Vikings down, and Dark says, this game's not going to 30 minutes because I know that Nathanias wants to watch some anime before he goes to sleep, and what a gentleman he is. Indeed. The Queens are approaching Cure's base. The Swarm is at the door. The Ghosts are on the retreat, but they do not have any footing with which to make a stand. And I think that one's gonna do it for this this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't really see how he breaks out of this one. He's morphing Banelings in his base. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Dark takes the 2-0.